Welcome, welcome everybody. I'm the air quotes comedian, and this is the Polemics podcast. Welcome. So, I was at a Nazi rally the other day in Germany in the 1940s because I'm a racialist now. Yeah, I do all the racisms. I was chatting with the chief recruitment officer and I said, instead of just recruiting white Germans, why not recruit everybody? Jewish Germans, Poles, gay Germans, and Romani people. You'd have a much bigger regime if you did that. The chief recruitment officer looked at me with narrowed eyes and said, "What are you, some kind of comedian?" I said, "I'm not a comedian. I just have delusions about being a comedian. That wasn't comedy, it just had a delusion about being comedy. What I said wasn't funny, it just had a delusion of being funny." Often, when driving through the little town I live in, I pass a sign for a business that states the name of that business, and that name is Unique Boutique. And it got me thinking, what is a boutique? I have no idea. Is it, as they oh so boldly claim, unique? Again, I have no idea, as it's pretty hard to use a search engine of my choice when I'm barreling down the little town street at 70 miles an hour. Upon returning home, a cursory search using the search engine of my choice, which isn't fucking Google or Bing, thank you very much. A cursory glance at the results returned for the Unique Boutique confirmed that while it may have been a boutique, it was certainly not unique. If you can think of some lazy turn of phrase to create a half-assed rhyme to promote your business, then chances are hundreds of other people have independently arrived at the name Unique Boutique. If it truly was unique, then there would be one and only one boutique in the whole world. Now, I have no feelings about Unique Boutique one way or the other. I am completely ambivalent concerning matters surrounding the name Unique Boutique. But it did get me thinking about rhyming names of various businesses. And lazy, half-assed rhyming names of businesses are everywhere, aren't they? The one example that immediately sprung to my mind, because I drive by it on a regular basis, is Hobby Lobby. Now, I think the name of a business should, in some way, actually reflect the concern of the business, and as far as I can determine, Hobby Lobby only exists to deny its female employees certain aspects of healthcare, and lobbies, possibly, I didn't really look into it, lobbies the government to do the same. You could say that that is their hobby. I mean, everybody should have a hobby, except when your hobby directly impinges and restricts the rights of others in a misogynistic and hateful fashion. To see if Hobby Lobby even catered to my particular hobby, I went in there one time wearing my "I eat aborted fetuses while masturbating to images of aborted fetuses" t-shirt. I learned that Hobby Lobby didn't cater to my favourite hobby, which is creating life-sized crucifixion dioramas of Christian conservatives. So Hobby Lobby is obviously not the store for me. But stores with rhyming names right, they really are everywhere. Another example I can think of is Topshop, which presumably is some kind of shop that specialises in selling tops. Now, I don't know whether they're selling spinning tops, bottle tops, or clothing that just caters to the top half of one's clothing requirements. I mean, there's no way to know, no way to possibly find out, and thus will remain a mystery to me for the rest of my time upon the earth. And shops with rhyming names really are everywhere, aren't they? In the United Kingdom, for instance, police stations are referred to as cop shops, which isn't particularly inventive. How about, Bobby Lobby? Pig digs. You get the idea. There is room for invention. People should have more creativity and imagination. When I think of cop shop, well, I think it could go one of two ways. The first way it could go is that cop shop is an actual shop where you can purchase a cop. The price of your cop purchase would be slightly cheaper than the cop you can buy at the Bobby Lobby, but then the Bobby Lobby does sell its cops with a 3-month money-back guarantee. You know, just in case the cop you've purchased turns out to be anti-racist or have some other defect that traditionally we don't want in police personnel. The other route it could go is that the cop shop is a shop for the purchasing needs of cops and sells the kind of items exclusively utilised by cops. You know, stuff like handcuffs, tasers, an inalienable sense of superiority over the general public, notebooks, walkie-talkies, penis enlargement pills, vaginal enlargement pills for lady police, badge polish, nightsticks, day sticks, and, of course, Nazi pyjamas, which are pyjamas, right, exclusively for cops, sold by the cop shop. They're made out of that soft flannel material, the Nazi pyjamas, and basically look exactly like the SS uniform decked out in full regalia, but in pyjama form. There's the swastika, albeit printed on that soft flannel that feels like a kitten's kiss on the skin, essential iconography for a pair of Nazi pyjamas that can only be bought by a cop in the cop shop that sells items exclusively for cops. There's the death's head skull on the little nightcap, printed on that soft flannel that feels like the soulful warmth of an innocent, wide-eyed and loving child against the skin, an essential symbol to have on a pair of Nazi pyjamas exclusively for cops as sold by the cop shop. There's the Iron Cross, lovingly recreated on the Nazi pyjamas, made in soft flannel that feels like an angel's breath upon the skin, Nazi pyjamas that can only be purchased by full-time police in the cop shop that is only for cops. There's the Nazi eagle, skillfully embroidered onto the Nazi pyjamas by child slaves in China, with that flannel that is so soft and caressing that it seems to be ethereal and insubstantial on the skin. Nazi pyjamas only available in a single location, i.e. the cop shop, and sold only to cops and nobody else. There's the 2 lightning bolts symbolising the SS, carefully printed onto the Nazi pyjamas by exploited children in Chinese work camps, that are made of a flannel so impossibly soft it feels like an intangible abstract concept against the skin. Nazi pyjamas, mind, only available in the cop shop and only available to cops. So, if you are a cop, then you should definitely check out the cop shop for all your Nazi nightwear and penis enlargement pill needs, vaginal enlargement pills if you're a female cop, and other sundry items exclusively utilised by cops. Sadly, if your flavour of racism is more hillbilly than Third Reich, then you'll have to go to the Bobby Lobby, because the cop shop doesn't sell KKK pyjamas. Now you might think that not all cops are racist, but you'd be mistaken. as evidenced by the fact that police exclusively wear Nazi pyjamas and KKK nightgowns. Of course, not being police, you don't have access to the cop shop, Bobby Lobby or Pig Digs, and thus it would be inordinately hard for you to verify the veracity of everything I just said. You'll just have to take my word for it, much like the public takes the word of a police that says, "The suspect repeatedly shot himself in the back with my gun while running away and then viciously clubbed himself to death with my baton while I ate a donut."